Hello, my name is Mary Dunn and I work in the Western Health and Social Care Trust, and today we're here to explore what mental health is. We're going to look at what it is, we're going to look at the signs and symptoms, and we're going to look at the risk and protective factors, and then we're also going to explore the sources of support that are available to help when somebody is in distress with their mental health. And today I have Gary and I have Eamon and Stephen with me, and they're going to talk us through what their perceptions of mental health is, and we'll work through it from there.
I think there's a bit of confusion whenever we talk about mental health, and I think people tend to think of mental health problems or mental illness, but we all have mental health as we all have physical health, and I feel it's basically our ability to manage the stresses of life, the daily things that happen in our lives, and to manage them well and to manage them successfully, to build positive relationships with the people that are in our lives, and just keep ourselves right.
That sounds really positive. So you're talking about mental health is that positive sense of well-being that we look for. Would I be right in saying that, Gary?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's that positive self-esteem, self-belief that you can handle the challenges of life, that you're capable of handling the things that sometimes happen unexpectedly in our lives.
Yes, a lot of young people today, they're under much more pressure through school, through work and social pressures. It's often when they find themselves overwhelmed by these pressures that they start to feel down, maybe a bit anxious, and find it hard to cope with their daily activities, So when they lose control, sometimes they can actually socially exclude themselves and withdraw from family and friendships. I think that's one of the most apparent signs of poor mental health.
So thank you, Eamon. It sounds like, it's more than just that down day that we get, that
Yes.
When our mental health, it lasts longer. How long might it last that maybe somebody should seek help?
Everybody has their down days, including myself, It's when it becomes apparent that it's actually affecting your lifestyle, affecting your relationships, and for an extended period of time, that I find that's when it's time to seek help.
Gary, can you take us through for some young people what might put their mental health more at risk?
There's many things. Mostly social pressures these days are probably more extreme than many years ago. Social media, there's added pressure with social media, and bullying seems to be more prominent these days. It's important if you know somebody has been bullied or is feeling the pressure of social exclusion, to actually ask them for help. Ask if they need help, and ask if you can help them in any way.
Any other signs and symptoms that young people might need to be aware of among their friends, if they're concerned about their friends, some of the signs and symptoms that they might notice?
You might notice your friends becoming more withdrawn, not actually interacting with you, maybe not socialising with their friends as the way they normally would. These are all kind of worrying signs that somebody might be suffering with poor mental health,
Okay, Stephen, we've looked at what mental health is, we've looked at some of the signs and symptoms. Now I think the most important thing that we look at is, how do people cope, what are the coping strategies, and what support do you think is available?
Well, people deal and cope with things in different ways. It's like if you have physical problems, you'll go to your GP or go to A&E. But with mental health problems, you really need to start with yourself. You need to find somebody that you can talk to, who you trust, especially being a male, which is harder for us to kind of open up and say what's wrong.
Yes.
It's just finding that person you can connect on a level, and trying to avoid, as Eamon mentioned earlier, the drugs and alcohol route, because it can just destroy your mental health even worse.
Yes.
And I suppose, being a male, the thing that always helped me with my mental health was being active, being part of a team, and especially in like a beautiful day like this, getting out for a nice long walk with a friend, chatting, and just letting loose what you have to say or how you're feeling that day.
And I suppose it can be very difficult to tell somebody how you're feeling, because it is hard to talk about your mental health. Is there tips that we could give somebody if they were struggling today, on how to start that conversation?
Well, the first thing I would say to anybody, if you're feeling down or you're feeling a bit blue, it's just try and engage with somebody, try and say, look, I don't feel the best today, and I don't mean physically, there's something not right in how I feel inside me. Could you please talk to me, or let me just unload how I'm feeling to you.
Thank you. That's a lovely way, and that's a lovely opening for somebody. If anybody's struggling today with their mental health, it's okay to say, I'm not okay. And that can take great courage and confidence, but source out somebody that you feel that you can trust, that you feel safe with, and just start that conversation, because that begins the journey of healing and promoting your mental health, and on the journey of recovery should you need it. Is there any sources of support out there that people could go to for help?
Well, you have sources like the Samaritans, Lifeline. Even going to your GP can help, because they can point you in the right direction. Youth leaders, team coaches and stuff, they should know where they're in the right direction. But the number one thing is realising in yourself that you have a problem and you need to talk about it, and engaging with somebody and starting that initial conversation is your first step.
Great. And what did they say? 1,000 miles begins with that first step. Of seeking help. And I think today we've covered what is mental health, that it is very like our physical health. It's a thing we need to take care of, we need to look after. There'll be days when it does go wrong, and that's okay. We have those bad days. But what we've heard from our guests today is if it's going on for a longer period of time, it's impacting on your mental health, your relationships, your ability to cope, it's okay to say, I'm not okay, and start that journey about seeking help, because as soon as you seek help, you begin the journey of recovery. And there is help out there. People do recover from mental health problems and often become a lot stronger as a result of their experience. So we would encourage you to seek help and do what you're doing. Keep active. Activity, physical activity promotes mental health. Talking to people, being safe around people, making sure you keep your alcohol, and challenge the whole journey of drugs, because the impact on the mental health, we don't know what's in them and how that impacts on how we feel, and it can make things a lot worse. If you need help, seek help. But the first and most important thing is to keep your hopes and dreams alive as a young person, and believe in yourself and take care of your mental health.